What is the most common dinosaur in dentistry? Well, over 80% of offices still use paper clips and old paper forms. It's time to bury that dinosaur and move to Opera DDS Forms, where for as little as $59 a month, you can get all of your forms online. We've got a slick form editor where you can create your own forms. There's just absolutely no reason to stick with the old school ways. Avoid all the half solutions with PDFs online. Get yourself true paperless forms, any form, any device, anywhere, starting at just $59 a month. Go to forms.operadds.com. Welcome to the Operatory podcast, the podcast about burying the dinosaurs in dentistry, moving past outdated technology and procedures to find a better way. With me today is my friend, the patient, providing the perspective of the people who don't work in dentistry for dentistry, David Pryor.
Hey, Bryan, how's it going?
Man, I'm broken.
Okay, what's new there?
Well, the reason why I'm not broken. The D key on my keyboard is broken.
Is it from typing my name too many times?
Yes, Dave, that's exactly why. Damn Dave. That's a lot of D's. No, it's not. I don't know. Maybe it is. But I was just typing away, and I've got a computer, which, frankly, luckily it broke because it happened 3 days before the warranty went up on my new computer from a year ago, probably 362 days ago, right?
Yep.
But the D key broke in half.
Yep.
Right? And this isn't some weird metaphor, but what it did, it happened this weekend, and I'm sitting. You're looking at, like, you can see my computer right now.
Yep.
The D key broke, and first of all, if I kind of like hit the little plastic piece, I can get a D to go.
Yep.
But it's really highlighted something about technology for me.
Which is?
A couple things.
Okay.
Number one, I need my technology, right? I'm like, crap. I had to go out and buy a Bluetooth keyboard just like so I could like finish typing because I'm creating a lot of content for Upgrade Dental that we're doing tons of videos for. I'm super excited about. But without my keyboard, without my D key, Upgrade is upgrade. Right? I mean it's upgrade.
Okay,
so,
just for our audience, Bryan has about 12 corded keyboards in the back room that were available to him, but he had to go out and buy a Bluetooth keyboard to accommodate his need for new technology. Okay, continue, Bryan.
You just added another bullet point to me.
Okay.
My new computer only has USB-C, right? So it does. I can't. So your fancy, wonderful corded keyboards that never have a problem, I need the adapter for. So that's a whole nother thing that we can talk about is compatibility in technology, right?
No kidding.
But what I'm saying is we don't even realize the simple technologies that we use every day, like the D key, that we come to be reliant on, right? And then to fix my computer, it's covered under warranty, right? So it costs nothing, right?
Well, except time and anxiety.
Exactly. You know, how much time?
I'm going to say it's 4 days.
7 to 12 days. So first, what I did was I drove down to Best Buy, talked to the Geek Squad, of which you were one of the very first people there.
Yep.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Where you, and $85 two-way shipping and at least a month. And I went, well, that's not going to happen. So I went home, went on the Dell website, found out that it's free because it broke 3 days before my warranty. And it's going to be 7 to 12 days, and they sent me a little box that I can send it in, right? But then I'm without a computer for 7 to 12 days, which is a problem. Not that big of a problem because of why, Dave?
Because you have all cloud-based stuff.
All cloud-based stuff, exactly. Yep. One of the other bullet points that my D key has taught me, even more than usual. Very glad that I have very easy to duplicate technology that doesn't require me to like upload, download. It's all readily available, right? Huge. I mean, it sounds like a small thing until your D key breaks and you're going to be without your computer for a week and a half, right? And then you're like, oh, everything's saved in the cloud, right?
Yep.
So that's a Beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful thing. Another thing that made me realize, when I went to the office today, what was the first thing I did?
Grabbed a cup of coffee.
Well, the second thing I did.
Turned on your computer.
I did. Yes, I did. But I did that before the coffee. But I'm thinking I'm going to be without my computer for 7 to 12 days. So do I have another? Right?
You do.
We do. So what we have is we have capacity of technology. So if we have an issue, it's not an issue.
Right.
Right. So there's a couple themes here that I just asked as I was thinking this morning, because we're coming into the podcast. I was thinking, you know what? This D key breaking in half. There's got to be some lemonade to make out of these lemons. And I think there's some lessons in my broken D key for our audience.
Tell me the lessons of your broken D key, Bryan. I could turn this so horrible for you, but
so do you want me to tell you the lessons again so I can summarize them?
Yes.
Okay, because while Dave is a fun-loving guy, sometimes not the brightest. Just kidding. Let me break it down for you.
D for dumb.
Yeah. There's a B in that too. Number one, the fact that I had a new computer that's shiny and nice doesn't mean it's going to last forever. Right?
No.
I've never had a D key break on a different keyboard ever. Probably because this is a really thin, computer, is probably more susceptible to breaking. So stuff is going to break, whether it's new or it's old. So, number one, make sure you have easily accessible alternatives.
Yep.
Right? So in this case, having our information in the cloud, right, like we do with Opera DDS,
Yep.
Everything in the cloud, there's no backing up. We do all of that on our end, and it's instantly scalable and readily available. So having all of your systems readily replaceable is a big deal.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Number two, which is something that I've really become, especially with VR, I've become aware of, is the requirement to have capacity and technology. If you have 12 operatories and one VR headset, nobody's going to use it because it's always going to seem like somebody else is using it,
Yep.
right? You could say the same thing about digital x-rays. If there's one sensor in 5 rooms, right, it's a pain in the ass. It's not. If that technology is now a bottleneck versus helping things move quicker, right?
Right.
What's
Yep.
what's the opposite of a bottleneck?
Free-flowing.
There you go.
Yep.
Maybe a water pump. I don't know. You need to have capacity. So even having an older computer or a Chromebook laying around or whatever you need to do to have a backup system before you need it is good, both in terms of being able to duplicate what you need, but then especially in critical systems like a keyboard.
Yeah.
and then having enough capacity that it's not the bottleneck, right?
Right.
And that's the big thing when I was thinking of the keyboard. I was like, man, this could be a gigantic pain, right? Having not being without my computer for 7 to 12 days. If I hadn't had cloud-based and we didn't have an extra computer, I don't know. I'd probably just be like trying to figure out what to do, right? But because we have those systems, it's a minor annoyance.
So what would you say in a dental office are the biggest bottlenecks? Like when I'm thinking of bottlenecks for you, I could certainly identify like a CEREC could be a huge bottleneck, or your cone beam, or something where it's crazy expensive to have redundancies.
Yeah, you're 100% right, and I think that's hard. That's a hard thing, because if you have a $150,000 piece of equipment, then you're kind of then where you build it in probably is working with the supplier that's going to have your back.
Yeah.
Right. If you buy your CEREC off eBay and you save $30,000 and you don't register it with a supplier, right? You seem like you're a genius because you saved yourself $30,000 until that thing goes down.
Yeah.
Right. That's where that duplication comes in.
Right.
So good point.
Yeah.
CT scan might be more difficult, but it's also less time critical. Right. I mean, you can if it's bad, but if somebody's not in. They come in today, if they're going to come back in 6 months, if you have to take that CT scan in 6 months, it's not as big of an issue as not being able to produce the crown today.
Right.
Or like, even the lower hanging fruit, like I was talking about digital x-rays, if you don't have enough sensors, just buy more sensors. I mean, come on. It's like that money that you think you're saving, you're really just kicking yourself in the foot, right? I mean, that's not, it just doesn't make sense if you really think about it long term. But it's counterintuitive, right? It's like, why would you want to have extra capacity? And I might have said it on this podcast before, but you think about like Target where they have 50 lanes and they almost never use all 50 except for one day out of the year. Well, the reason why is because they studied it, and not having the bottlenecks is a huge issue. Right.
So those sensors are one thing that you would recommend having to ease up bottlenecks. What are the easy low hanging fruit to get rid of bottlenecks?
Computers, right? My computer right here.
Yep.
The reason why it's not a problem is because I've got another one.
So have a few extra laptops laying around.
Absolutely.
Yep.
A few extra laptops, a few extra sensors.
Yep.
Right. Having all of your stuff up in the cloud in case something goes down, you're not screwed.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of using QuickBooks, the program, use it online.
Yeah.
Right. If whatever you can move to the cloud. Obviously, it's we're big proponents of that, right?
Well, and me especially. I mean, coming from the technology background that I come from, I cannot urge you people enough to get your stuff into the cloud. It's going to start to eliminate a lot of your IT costs. That's the no-brainer decision for all of you, all of the dentists. Is the more stuff you can put into the cloud, the better.
Yeah. Now, there's some technologies that I think that's being built out right now. Mm-hmm. So don't just move to the cloud to move to the cloud, right? But have backups.
Yep.
Have backups, and backups with cloud is easier too, right?
Yep.
So there's that. I mean, the number of like pens, and whatever you need that's cheap and readily available.
Yeah.
Like don't skimp. Have plenty of it around. You know, like we have extra burrs, right? Why would you ever? Like when I run out of something in the operatory and it's not available, which hasn't happened because my team knows kind of the reaction that I have when it happens. But like, what you don't have the impression material that I want, or the cord or the burr or whatever it is, and we don't have a lot of excess. We just have management systems in place, inventory management systems, so that we always have excess. Right.
Good.
Not tons of excess, but backup excess.
Right.
Right. Because it's not all technology is VR and CT scans. It's every little thing.
Right.
Right. And so I guess including a D key on your keyboard. Right.
Right.
And so that was kind of the lemonade that I was kind of thinking about when I coming into this podcast that I wanted to make was like, we have to, while having to send my computer away for a week, is an inconvenience, right? It's a mild inconvenience. If, however, I was sitting here and my everything was stored on my laptop, and I didn't have a backup, right? And I was going, oh man, no, what am I going to do? Am I going to buy another laptop and then reconfigure that and have it take 3 days? And by the way, Dell said you have to send it the same day you get that box, or who knows how long it's going to take. So they know exactly what they're doing. Because if you're a day late, they can say, oh, now it's not going to be 1 week. It's going to be 3 months.
Yeah.
Right? So they have that factored into their whole equation. Because they know with me, if they get my computer that same day, that all of my stuff is cloud-based. They can send me a brand new computer, and I won't care. Because I'll just transfer everything over. All I need to do is to log into my cloud-based system.
Yep.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you, Bryan.
It'd be easy for me to type that in a week and a half.
Oh, that's so exciting for you.
Thanks, man.
You bet.
I also want to remind you to rate and review us wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you have suggestions or comments, please visit theoperatory.com and drop us a line. Again, I'm Dr. Bryan Laskin, host of The Operatory. Thanks for listening. I look forward to speaking with you next week.